Franklin Roosevelt once said, "Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds." Prison, jail, the creation of man to contain something evil. I open myself up to whatever lies within these bars, with the hopes of finding out who is still here. So what did you, like, that top floor is insane.
Yes, with the solitary confinement jails.
Like the
cells.
Floor is falling through. That's where they actually hung somebody. Did you feel anything on that floor?
Yeah, don't step on the door. That just feels kind of creepy that you're walking across a place where they hung somebody. He fell through that floor to die. So we need to get
the drawing on the wall. Like they scratched things on the wall, like a whole story of their life on the wall. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine what kind of life you had to live to be able to just...
Well, just look at their living conditions. They were in a little bitty cube for most of their life while they were here.
And the guy that put this together was
Will Wright was the first Texas Ranger.
Will Wright.
He was the founding Texas Ranger here in the 1870s.
This is going to be an interesting investigation, I think, because you know my history, right? My grandfather was a policeman.
Your grandfather was a sheriff?
He's always with me, so I always have issues at jails. I got to be honest with you, two things. One, she said something about the HEB, which is right next door to our hotel. Historian and tour guide Miss Tara Lee shared with us a story about a man who was put in prison for his own protection.
Bill, very well known. Everybody liked him because he was really good, and he got senile as he got older, and the asylums were full, so they wouldn't take him, and the poor farm wouldn't take him because they felt he was too dangerous.
He was in jail for no reason.
So they put him in jail. They put him here to sleep, basically. And, and he lived here 2 years, and then he died of just natural causes. So he ended up being here for 2 years and died here.
That's sad.
It is sad. It is sad.
I mean, that's basically, you know, a lot of what they called insane back then was what we call dementia.
Yeah, it could have been just dementia or something. Yep.
They didn't have an old folks home.
And there were some instances where lynch mobs were going after some of those blacks, and they actually put them in the jail not to arrest them, but to protect them from the old lynch mobs.
Like protective custody. And she continues to tell us the story of the camps that were designed for slaves who had no home. And the cemetery near our hotel is where the people from those camps now reside.
After we had what's called a black camp, and it's right there where HEB is. That whole area right there is where they would have camped out, and those were for people that didn't have a place to go, so they had like that community right there. And there was a doctor in Floresville that killed another doctor in Floresville in the middle of the night. They were both drunk, and the doctor that killed the other one got scared and kind of just went home, and so they accused one of the people, the black people at that, of him from doing it, but the sheriff didn't think he did it, so they took him into custody to protect him. To protect him, and then they found out who did it like a day later, and he was released. But stuff like that, interesting stories we found online.
So the HEB area was called Black Camp, and that's where all the slaves were after the Civil War.
Yes, the ones that didn't have a place to go.
Which is right across the street. We stayed at that Holiday Inn Express.
And there is a cemetery right behind HEB. It's the Edwards Cemetery, because the person who donated her land, her last name was Edwards. So the Edwards Cemetery is right behind it, and that's where the people that were at that black camp were buried within that Edwards Cemetery.
What I didn't tell you last night was, whenever we were outside getting some fresh air at 2 a.m., I felt something over there. And then she said that the cemetery
Is directly behind
the HEB. Enter Miss Neela Hopkins, one of the residents raising money
Cool, thank you, man.
to restore the jail. Spirit Guides bought a brick to help out. We even put her on camera and shot a commercial.
This is the brick.
Oh yeah. Have the Texas cut out, but we'll leave a fleur-de-lis popping out in the red.
No, they're not going to do all
She's
that.
gonna punch us.
Your brick's going to be $400, sir.
Whatever.
She goes, if you're buying a brick, we're going to hook you up.
She's gonna
Whatever
back.
my-
That's okay.
You ever throw it at somebody?
Very tempting.
Buy it or else. That's what you do.
So yeah, what I didn't tell you last night was at 2 a.m. while we were outside getting some fresh air, I knew something was there. I knew that there was something there. And then she tells us that the cemetery.
The cemetery is directly behind the new HEB.
Yeah.
Which is where they were all buried. The people that died in that camp were ended up buried right there. It was land donated by a local woman.
Exactly.
So maybe we can drive through there when we go back to the hotel in a little while, and we'll look at the cemetery.
Yeah, we can do that. We can check that out. It's gonna be an interesting. This town is.
This whole town, we will be back at this town because there's a couple of other buildings.
You know as well as I do, that we feel things, right? We go to places and we feel things, and it's because we open ourselves up to feeling those things. And this whole town, man, everywhere we've been, we drive around the block. We went by that old cafe.
The cafe around the corner, which we're going to eat supper at tonight.
It's like all of this energy is just
the town's heavy.
here.
Is
This
how I feel it.
Whole town.
The town's heavy.
Then we were approached by a resident of Floresville, Mr. Clarence Ehlers, who had stories of his own to share.
Definitely.
Have you ever had an experience?
No, not here. I've heard stories, by different people, and so. But no, I wouldn't. The lady Tara was, she sent me a video the last time with the little light ball, cat ball, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That lit up and stuff like. But I think they've heard voices and things. So I think there's a lot of different spirits in here. So. But the society also has a house out in the country. But originally, when there was a two-story house, it was moved from Gonzales, Texas, and it's out there. But we renovated it, and I had all kinds of stories from the. Well,
that's the one that she said they're hoping to get on the tour.
Right.
Yes, that's right.
That's the town.
But there was actual people that were working out there, like a husband and wife, and the wife was kind of out there at the back door kitchen looking through the house, and she saw a man walk through, and she hollered for her husband, and he answered from underneath the house, So.
Oh wow.
But the contractor was out there. He had one incident where he was in the kitchen, up on a ladder, and he was nailing up the tin ceiling tile, and there was a man at the door. Said, "Hey, is anybody there?" He said, "Yeah, I'll be right there." He got down off the ladder, went to the front because he wasn't in there.
We were able to interview Miss Mallory Deason, who has explored this location before and has experiences she wanted to share. And as a Guestigator, we wanted to hear. Awesome. So you're part of a team yourself, right?
Yes.
And what is that team called?
Paranormal Freaks Anonymous.
Paranormal Freaks Anonymous.
I am the head freak in charge.
Okay.
The other three girls are Freak 1, Freak 2, and Freak 3.
Okay. All right.
We wanted to be different.
And that's very excellent. That's very awesome. So what have you experienced in this building?
So just a little bit earlier, before you guys got here to start setting up, I had actually been in there. I could hear ticking noise in there. I actually heard a conversation. I couldn't tell what they were saying. And then I'd gone outside, because of course you can't smoke in the building. Went outside to smoke. I came back in, and I'd had my bag laid down flat. When I came in, it had been turned and set upright. And I stopped and I looked, I was like, really? And all I could hear was two little kids giggling out in the hallway.
Weird.
Yeah. We had an SLS camera in there with my computer about 2 weeks ago. And we actually caught a stick figure on the computer.
Excellent.
Or on the screen, and there was one other person standing in it, and when they reached out, because it was tall, they reached out and they could actually feel a cold spot on their hands. So it was very, very cool. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, there was one gentleman in there that was convicted of murder, and you can actually see a story that is literally written across the walls in his cell.
Wow.
And so, yeah, he was in there for a long time. He had some that were just, overnight to sober up
Yeah,
or whatever
sure.
the case, but they actually have had some in there that were life sentences to where they were hung here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, considering the jail has been open since 1887 and didn't close till 1974,
It's
it's
had quite a few people
amazing.
through here.
Yes, a lot of energy and a lot of different things that have gone on. So yeah.
Well, so tonight we're going to be in here and we're going to try and figure out who is still hanging around with us and why.
Yes.
And I think that that's some answers that you would like to know as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the more that we know who's here and that it's their home, the more we can respect them and make sure their story is told.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want more than
Absolutely.
anything.
I agree with that totally. And you're going to hang out with us tonight, right?
Absolutely.
So you know what we do, right?
Yes, sir. I've been lucky enough to do a little bit of investigation myself and watch other groups and things like that, so I'm very, very excited.
Excellent. So
Very
you're going to
excited.
be a guestigator on our show tonight, and we're excited to have you. We appreciate
Perfect.
it. We love having new knowledge come in, so anything that you have an idea of, feel free to share it.
And vice versa, because I'll be learning from y'all just as much, I can promise you that.
Well.
So yeah,
We're happy to be here.
definite learning experience, and we're very, very excited.
No one was prepared for where the night would take us. And we were able to join forces with the SAGH crew once again. Mr. John Delgado, lead investigator, interviewed with us to tell us his story from this location.
John Delgado.
Yes, sir.
This is your team.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's good to meet you finally.
Yes,
We've
sir.
talked a
Likewise.
lot.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
So tell me about, you've been here before.
Yes, I actually got to investigate here about 13 years ago, right before they cut off investigations. I've been waiting 13 years for tonight to get back in here. It's an amazing place.
Insane. 13 years.
13 years on a wait list.
And
Yes.
it was very active back then.
Very, very active. A lot of EVPs, shadow people. I even had something grab my butt upstairs. And
Maybe they'll grab my butt tonight.
Hopefully they will. And the best thing that we got ghost cats on video on the first floor.
Cats?
Cats. 2 large cats and a small cat.
So that's something that I've never seen. I've never had a ghost animal on any kind of film. Maybe at some point in time I felt something rub my leg like it could have been a cat or a dog, but never anything that I could prove.
Where we saw the cats pass and then pass right back. And as they pass right back, it reminds me of like the Flash. Remember the Flash is like a blur going by, but you can see the light bouncing out of its eyeball.
What drew you back to this place?
Maybe some of your viewers know, old jails are all notoriously haunted.
Yes.
Jails, hospitals, museums.
Yes.
And so we did a tour, since we're San Antonio Ghost Hunters, we did a tour of all the jails in our area in about an 80-mile range, and this was one that kind of really stood out for us. Here, unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of folks hung inside the building. Back in the day, it was like a public thing where everybody would come out and see the person hanging. So the majority of the hanging here was done outside.
That's crazy. And our courthouse in season 2, we hunted the courthouse in Lake Charles, the Calcasieu Parish Courthouse, and they hung people in the front lawn of the courthouse. That place was insane with activity. That place was absolutely amazing. So comment below and let us know if you'd like to see the SAGH crew come to Louisiana, across the border, and come hang out with us at the DeRidder Jail. I bet they would come and do a really good job with us, and we could give you guys a whole new perspective of what that jail has to offer. John, I'm gonna ask you a serious question.
Okay.
Have you ever laid in a bed that was haunted? Like in the jail cells, they have the beds. And I know it's just metal where there used to be some kind of a mattress at some point, but have you ever tried to put yourself in a position of what the prisoners felt in that moment?
The closest I can relate to that would be Waverly Hills in the morgue.
Yes.
I did lay in the morgue.
Yes.
Yeah, in Waverly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's an amazing place.
I usually get Paul or Josh to lay in the stuff.
All right.
I don't like to lay in the stuff, but I'll let them lay in the stuff.
Gotcha.
Wilson County, Texas. 1800s. The law of the land is the gun. And there's nothing that you would expect to be more haunted than an old prison from that time. What these people went through in this building, what these prisoners had to endure, I can't imagine. But tonight, we're gonna talk to them, we're gonna make contact, and we're gonna find out. And if we can, we're gonna try and help. Captain Will Wright of the Texas Rangers in Floresville, Texas, in Wilson County. Is it possible an entire town can be haunted? Full of nice people and an old jail. What things will we find? Beginning the night, John wanted to share with us his dowsing rod abilities, and they prove to be very compelling.
You cross for a yes, cross for a yes, go out for a no. Okay, I'm actually...
And while I am usually skeptical of dowsing rods, John's ability to hold his hand steady is extremely impressive.
Spin. Spin around. Go, go, go. Spin around. Now stop and go the other way. On command, man. My hand's not moving at all. A lot of times, if it stops by itself and goes the other way, it's because there's a spirit close to me in my proximity that is actually fighting me for control of the rod. And that's actually what's happening right now, because I had it going clockwise.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. It sounds like they're clockwise. It started going clockwise. And the spirit started pulling it counterclockwise. No, not me. Clockwise. Clockwise.
Oh,
Clockwise.
that's neat.
Yeah. Okay, and okay, Mr. Dowsing Rod, I'd like you to point to Josh. Can you tell me where my buddy Josh is at? Point to Josh.
Dang, man,
How's that?
that's pointing right at me.
Right at you, bro. Right at you.
Man.
The other thing I tell the spirit to do is, spirit, point to where you're at. Tell me where you're at. Point to yourself. Point to yourself. Point to yourself. Where are you?
Ah, man. It's because they're up there.
Will the spirits of Wilson County Jailhouse show themselves in different ways? Paul and Rick head to the 3rd floor, and unbeknownst to them, I stop one level below them, and the answers that I get seem to be in response to the questions they ask, one floor away.
There was one hanging inside the jail, and it was right here. The man came out of solitary confinement. This handle right here is the handle that would open the trap door. When they took the prisoner out, they strung him up, and the sheriff was standing right there to pull the handle. The prisoner took out a shiv and stabbed the sheriff right above the heart. And the sheriff was rushed to the hospital. The senior deputy took over, and they went ahead and put the prisoner back on there and pulled the lever. And the deputy did it wrong, and when he pulled the lever, the guy went at an angle because the door didn't open up right, and it didn't kill him. So they had to pull him back up, set everything up again, and they had to hang him twice before they had a successful hanging.
And then Paul acknowledges that he hears me right below them, but he does not know that I am there.
Was that you? No, I heard, it sounds like an S-box went off.
It sounded weird. I heard something, I don't know what it was, I have no idea. Is this like bugging your infrared? Or
No, it's not.
Anybody here?
I swear I heard it say hide.
Are you
I don't know.
hiding or are you telling us to hide? place, and anybody that may be lingering around, we would like to know who you are and why you are here. So feel free to talk to us. We mean you no harm, so if you don't harm us, we're cool. You can use my energy as long as you don't harm me, we're cool.
Rick is a professional, and we do not recommend anyone offer their energy to the spirit realm, as it is a very dangerous proposition.
I swear I've heard our obelisk, but we don't even have it up here.
That's what it sounded like.
Because it just said
Like a
something.
response to one of the ghost boxes, right?
Yeah, but I don't have my ghost box. I don't have it on.
Meanwhile, I am directly below them with the obelisk, getting answers to their questions.
Anybody here with us?
Client.
Wasn't me. Well, I heard it sounded weird. I heard something. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Is this like when you're infrared? No, it's not. Anybody here? Are you hiding or are you telling us to hide?
So we're going to do an experiment. We're going to let them ask questions, and we're going to try and get answers here.
We received no relevant answers on the obelisk. However, we did receive a small energy spike in the EMF detector that I had with me.
Make it go to a 1.7. So higher and hold it there.
This response on command was the only evidence received at this time.
Make it go to a 1.7. Keep it at 1.7.
Moving to the upstairs quarters in front of the jail, Glenn and myself start an EchoVox session on his tablet, and the answers we receive are very compelling.
Oh my God. See? Oh my God.
Exactly what I asked. And it's good. Right, check it out right here. I got that chills. Are you
Happened right here.
Yeah. Are you the one?
Like right here.
Are you the one that was here today?
So he just asked how many spirits with us, and it said several.
And then we start receiving names of ourselves.
What's his name?
What's my name?
Did it say it? Marquis?
I thought I heard it.
Marquis? What? There's a French lady here with us, right? Rick, she's down there. You want Rick to leave? Yeah. Why do you want Rick to leave? What about Glenn? Yes. Please.
Do you want all of us to leave?
And then we then get a barrage of answers that are harder to piece together. But the goosebumps we receive from these answers are very real.
Is this a portal?
Yes.
And he goes, and he said yes, yes, Lord.
Yes.
Some crazy Latin.
Yes.
Latin. You're going crazy right now, aren't you? Look at the chill bumps.
I just got it all
Get bad.
over.
F you. Are you a Latin pig sucker? Say something. F who?
Glenn.
Why me?
Glenn.
I think I'll be fine. He said Mustafa. Are you German? No?
Paul. I immediately contact Paul to come meet us, as this is the second time we've heard his name on the Echo Vox. And before Paul can arrive, the evidence continued in the form of EMF fluctuations. That was good.
They're arguing with their damn self.
It's turned off.
What the fudge? No.
It turned itself off.
Did it drain the battery?
No. Battery was full. Battery's full. See, look at the top. It's full.
It was using that energy. Like my whole.
And look, it was oh God. It was 1.6 a while ago.
Yeah.
And now it's a 0.8. So whatever was here is over here.
I was going ham. Can't believe we can't answer on that.
Or it's gone, one of the two. But it turned off my equipment. So my EMF detector was on the floor over there, and it was reading 1.6 milligauss, and now it's reading 0.8.
It did testify to the portal.
But I had to turn it on again because it turned itself off.
Yeah,
Or something turned it off.
It testified to the portal.
Okay. Explaining to Paul and Rick what has just happened, they join our investigation in the front room quarters of the historic Wilson County Jail. And it doesn't take long for them to hear what we hear.
That
was Paul.
Hello? It's okay, we don't get out. We don't mean you any harm. Talk to us.
At this point in the night, Paul receives a phone call that changes everything and ends our investigation.
Hello? Hey. In Floresville, Texas? What's wrong?
What?
My sister just called. Nobody's been able to talk to my mom all day. Her friends were even at her house to pick her up for something, and she didn't answer the door.
We need to go?
No, I got a call.
Paul receives the news that his mother has passed away. So we end the investigation, pack up, and drive home. Floresville, Texas. An entire town haunted. Solemnly, we leave now, but we will be back. I guarantee we will find out who is still here and why.
Let's take a little trip out of the city. Let's get away just for a while. Throw your coat in the backseat and come sit down next to me. We can drive till we lose count.